Hey everyone, this is Jillian Hartmann with Fox 4. Right now we are following some flooding in Cape Coral. Take a look on Northwest 1st Street off of Pine Island Road, and you can see a bus there driving through the flooded street and a car right behind it. Now, I actually should suggest that you don't drive through areas like this because that can actually damage your car and you could possibly get stuck. You can see them driving pretty slow right now through the flooded street and just barely getting across there. Now, we have seen some drivers turning around, making the right call to actually avoid flooded streets like this because, like I said, it can be somewhat dangerous and can cause you to hydroplane. Now, this is something to keep in mind when you're heading out the door this morning because we've seen a lot of heavy rain throughout Southwest Florida. Now, it only takes less than an inch of rain, an inch of water for you to hydroplane. So this area here has seen several inches of rain. We measured about 4 to 5 inches here, and you just saw a few cars drive past this street here through the rain and the water. So that is something that you shouldn't do because, like I said, you could get stuck and you can damage your car, which obviously none of us want that to happen. Again, we are on Northwest 1st Street off of Pine Island Road in Cape Coral. We've actually had a report of flooding also on Diplomat Parkway at Andalusia Boulevard in the Cape Coral area, but we have not made our way over there yet as we are following this flooding here in Cape Coral off of Pine Island Road on Northwest 1st Street. Now, we're hoping to talk to some neighbors on the flooding. We've seen several flooded areas in Cape Coral and other parts of Southwest Florida this morning. We've been driving around trying to track the rain, and we've seen some ponding in parks and neighborhoods. So it has become a major issue for folks this morning. And if there's any flooding near your streets, near your neighborhood, or on your way to work this morning, we would like to get some video, some footage, some photos of it so that we can share it and advise everyone of all the different parts that are either flooded, ponding, or just simply deep puddles can be a problem for people too, because if you drive over those deep puddles, you can hydroplane. Like I said, it takes less than an inch of water for you to hydroplane. So something like this is definitely something you don't want to drive through. And Jeff, I see your comment here, if you go slow, you won't hydroplane. That's not always the case. Like I said, if you're driving through inches of water, you could possibly get stuck. That's always a possibility. And you can see someone here trying to pull out of their house. Probably heading to work or dropping their kids off at school. So you can see that they're trying to just get out the door for the day, and this water is a big issue for them. And this truck here is going to try to drive through this. I'll zoom out for you guys. He's taking it very slow. So you just want to be careful when you're in areas like this that are flooded. It can be dangerous. You can hydroplane. There's always a chance of that. And this is on Northwest 1st Street off of Pine Island Road in Cape Coral. I'm gonna try to zoom out for you guys. My phone is not cooperating with me right now. And you can actually see a bus right now. Gonna drive through this flooded street. Again, this is on Northwest 1st Street off of Pine Island Road, somewhat near Sam's Club. And drivers are just taking it very slow. Now, the best option, the right option, is to just turn around and find a different route, find a different way to get to where you need to be, because you can hydroplane in areas like this where there's a lot of water. This is something to keep in mind. Less than an inch of water can cause you to hydroplane. So areas like this, as you can see, if you saw our newscast earlier about 20 minutes ago, I was standing in the water and it was about 4 to 5 inches high. So And again, try to zoom out for you guys. But my phone doesn't want to, so I'll try to step back here so I can get a wider shot. But again, I just want to share a few tips for anyone that's driving through an area like this. And you can see this truck here is going to drive through this flooded street. Now, the best option is to just turn around and find a different route. This person here is driving through the flooded street, and it can be problematic if you do that because you can possibly hydroplane. Like I said earlier, just less than an inch of water, you can hydroplane and get stuck and even cause damage to your car. So that's something to keep in mind when you see areas like this that are flooded. And we've seen a ton of rain this morning. We were out and about since 3 o'clock this morning tracking rain in Charlotte County and Lee County. I'm sure you have tuned into our Danny Beckstrom, who has been tracking the rain all morning long, telling you what areas have been hit the most and have seen a lot of rain. And it's been pretty bad this morning, but this is the worst we've seen yet. We've also heard another report of flooding on Diplomat Parkway at Andalusia Boulevard in Cape Coral, but we haven't made our way over there to see the flooding for ourselves, but we have received reports of flooding on that road as well. And this is a good 5 inches of water. And again, like I said earlier, even just less than an inch of water can cause you to hydroplane. So try to avoid streets like this if you can. If you can turn around and find a different route, that's the best thing to do. That way you don't damage your car, that way you don't hydroplane, that's way you don't get stuck. These are just suggestions for those who are heading out the door this morning, heading to work, dropping your kids off for the last day of school. I know a lot of people are on the roads right now. The traffic was picking up on our way over here, and we also saw several deep puddles on back roads and also parking lots. We were in the Publix parking lot on let me move so this car can come by, Pine Island Road earlier this morning, and there was massive puddles in the parking lot. So that's something to keep in mind when you're heading out the door, is to try to not to hydroplane, try to avoid it from happening, and try to avoid flooded streets like this. I know I've seen several drivers drive through here this morning, but again, if you can, turn around and find a different route. Try to avoid hydroplaning, try to avoid getting stuck and damaging your car. You can see this person just trying to zip through here on Northwest 1st Street off of Pine Island Road in Cape Coral. You can just see how deep it is. And there. Finally can zoom out. My phone's cooperating with me. So you can see here how much it's flooding on Northwest 1st Street in Cape Coral. There's a few other areas that look similar to this, so I was just trying to give you some tips on what to do when you come across flooded streets like this. The best suggestion, the best option is to turn around and find an alternate route. That way you don't hydroplane or get stuck and damage your car. Now, you've seen on this Facebook Live that some people have been brave enough to drive through this, just trying to get to where they want to be, but really the best option is to avoid flooded streets just like this. So we have received some reports of flooding also on Diplomat Parkway at Andalusia Boulevard, also in the Cape Coral area, but we haven't made our way over there yet because we are going to get some footage here to try to talk to some homeowners on the flooding. And like I said, it's been raining all morning long. It stopped about 25 minutes ago here in Cape Coral, which it was pretty consistent all morning long. It was constant. The rain was, it was downpouring most of the morning, and there were some sprinkles here and there, but this is just some suggestions for when you head out the door. And this person here was talking to our photographer about the flooding. But yeah, just giving you some suggestions when you do hit the road this morning to try to not hydroplane, try to avoid it at all possible. Like I said before, just an inch of water can cause you to hydroplane and can damage your car, which no one wants to have happen to them. And like I said, you can see people are just driving straight through this road here on Northwest 1st Street off of Pine Island Avenue or Pine Island Road in Cape Coral. And it's not raining now, as you can see. It's the first time it's been dry all morning, right, Lyle? Yeah. First time it's been dry all morning. So it was downpouring earlier. The rain was coming down really hard. So when you are driving on the road this morning or even later today, visibility was an issue for us. Our windshield wipers were in full force. So I suggest slowing down maybe about 10 miles per hour from the posted speed limit. We were actually going 35 on a 45 basically all morning long, trying to be cautious and just be aware of other drivers around you. Try to keep a safe distance from the car in front of you, behind you, and beside you. So that way you can avoid any accidents or crashes, because we know when it rains here in Florida, there's more and more crashes that pop up. So keep yourself safe, keep your family safe, and take it slow this morning. Streets just like this one on Northwest 1st Street in Cape Coral. We'll continue to follow the reported flooding in Cape Coral and across Southwest Florida. Just stay with Fox 4 on air and online for the latest.